Well, hello there. So good to see you, my fellow human being. I guess by the looks of it, you're awake and welcome to the WakeUp Show. On the latest of the late nights, on the greatest of the date nights. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. Today I think we're trying to sort of get into like the nitty-grittiness of human existence. We disassemble and reassemble relationships. We're just like we're really going out. There's a horse in this episode. God damn it, that's my dream would be to get the horse into the freaking studio. I think that's impossible. Like the stairs down into this basement is like I actually fell down there once. My wife did. It's a death trap. I never tell my guests this because they would never come if they knew. Yeah, so we're in the basement, in the dream. I am living the dream, waking you all up. Easy as that. I got my main man Andy with me. Did I leave anything out? Do you think we set this up good?
I think we're pretty close to run the intro.
I think we should run the intro.
Oh, hold on. Nope. Technical difficulties.
I love it.
Live from the dream, aka Drummond, it's the Wake Up Show with your host, Wolf Thunder Flitty.
Oh, hello. Now let me tell you a beautiful story about a webpage named patreon.com/The WakeUp Show. Now you see, you can see it, right? Closer. For me to be able to make this amazing show for you, like I've just dropped everything in my hands like this to give you the pleasure of waking up, of enjoying life at its fullest potential. And you, my dear viewer, can make this even greater and more awesome and spectacular by becoming a patron. And Lord behold, if you do so, you'll actually get access to the most premium of premiums that ever premiered, the ULF experience, where you get to see behind the scenes of this great show how the sausages are being made and how the politicians make their policies. Except it's beautiful and it's lovely and it's my life. Yeah. I've had some complaints. It's mainly Rob actually who's complaining. Everyone else seems really happy about it. But about the smell in the studio, aka the basement. So I invested in a beautiful light with a ginger smell. It's a scented candle actually. So just sort of set the mood, get like. I want people to be like comfortable, you know, when they're at the ground zero place for the massive explosion that is the Wake Up Show. And did I tell you about San Francisco? You know that's where we're going, and that's what's up. For now, it's a picture, but in due time, it will be a real steel structure painted red. So this documentary, actually, I think they have to paint it red like just continuously because it's so massive. I respect that. And I painted my house this summer, but that has nothing to do with anything. I have wonderful guests lined up for you guys this evening. these people are the finest of the finest of the fine. It says on the like the schedule that I'm talking. I talked about Patreon. I said you're welcome. And I think it's about time we sort of bring our guests in. Tess and Morten, come on into the studio. Can we hug? Is it allowed? Is it allowed? Yes, hello.
Hello.
You sit in the middle, a wonderful woman, and you sit over there. You have your cup of coffee. And you come a little bit closer.
I'm Swedish. I don't know how to.
I think it's IKEA. You should this came with your breast milk or something. I don't know.
I love how you sit there in the middle, beautiful woman, and you sit over there.
You beautiful guy.
Aww.
You guys look look at you.
Yeah, we dressed up.
We dressed up today, yeah.
But when people go to talk shows, they usually dress up. It's like going to the opera, funeral, or maybe even a wedding. I don't know. This is all of the above.
This is everything.
This is everything. Because as you know, all we have is the here and now, and here and now we're here, so we should put on our very finest.
Yep.
I got my Dickies worker pants. They're very durable, you know.
Very 90s.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's like that hat
This
is like
80s maybe even.
Is it? 80s?
Well, it's
70s,
like
maybe?
30s, 50s.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
of course.
It's like
Of
20
course.
years, and then it sort of comes popping back up.
Yeah.
But you're owning it. You're looking sharp.
I inherited it, and it's way too small for me, so my head is being crammed right now. But
Let's see how it goes.
I need you to hold up your lower thirds because we have amazing graphics departments. It looks like this. So, Morten Haugum Hake, you're a wonderful Viking, and Tess, you're a Swedish sweetheart.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you.
That's
Look
what
at
it
that.
says.
Did you come up with that?
No, that's what it says on the piece of
Oh, yeah,
paper.
of
Let's
course.
just go with it.
Yes, let's
I don't know
go
where
with
the
it.
paper comes from. It's from the paper factory, probably.
Maybe I can get it to stand up on my leg. Like we did I was getting my license this winter, and we had to have our name signs on the table.
Oh, Tess. Yeah. They do that at the UN as well. You know, they have the name.
Yep, that's
President
true.
Mbutu, and then it's like Mbutu over there. And then the translator have to go
Mbutu.
True story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to the UN. Who cares?
Who cares about UN? Actually, UN has great sustainability goals, which I actually care about.
Tess, come on! He's trying to take us in.
UN,
and I think this is actually
Not
good.
necessarily. I just actually have had a dream for a long time to become one of the elders with Gro Harlem Brundtland, Kofi Annan, and
you want to get in with that crowd.
And I do care about the United Nations sustainability goals, and that's why I also am doing the self-sustained plan I have on Zanzibar.
Yes. That's
We
great.
don't have to talk about that.
There's so many.
More of that. More.
Yes.
There's a lot to unpack here. But this is we're trying to keep things what's it called? In the now. You know what's happening. What are people talking about? And I took it upon myself the task to go out into the dream to talk with my fellow dreamers about this current refugee crisis that is sort of going on and has not been going on all the time, of course. Now I'm joking because it's going on all the time. It's a constant, but we seem to think that it's fluctuating.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting ahead of myself. I've talked to people in the dream about this refugee crisis. Let's hear what the dreamers had to say. So, I was wondering, if you were in charge, how many refugees would you save?
At least 150.
150. Why that? That's a very exact number.
Well, they say 50, and that's far too low.
Yes.
And now, and then maybe 150 later.
163.
100, that's a very exact number.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they pop up in my head.
Yeah. How about you? If you could decide, how many?
200.
200?
But
Yes.
yes, they must have something good to come to.
As many as possible.
That's a very good answer.
I
As many
think
as
so.
possible, yeah?
Yes.
How many do you think is possible?
I don't know.
During the 90s, during the Kosovo War and the Bosnian War, we took lots of refugees, and we had then we had an economic recession here, so thousands.
If you were in charge, how many refugees would you save?
As many as I could.
How many is that?
I'm not quite sure. But I would say as many as I could,
Yes.
as I possibly could.
Like, yeah. How big is your heart?
It's very big.
Yeah, so it's a lot of space in there.
Yeah, I give it to everybody.
Yeah, that's very
So
good, yeah.
I try to help them
I like that.
as many as possible.
Yeah. Our hearts are big,
Yes.
then there is space, yeah?
Yes, and we got use for them. They can come here and build a life here and make Norway even more richer.
Yeah, make everything better. That's a good answer.
Yes.
If you were in charge, how many refugees would you save?
Well, I should say, I will save all refugees.
Ah,
Yeah. All refugees.
all refugees.
Yeah. If I have the power.
If you had it, but that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Because you can't take one and leave the other.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
What's that all
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
That's absurd.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful,
yeah.
man.
Huh.
Thank you so much to our fellow dreamers for sort of giving their insights. So now the number seems to go from around 150 and up to actually all of them. What's your like immediate response to sort of where do we draw the line when we help other people? When there is a crisis, where should we sort of say, oh, it's we want to help, but we want to help up to this point?
Isn't it like the metaphor of putting the gas mask on yourself before you can put it on others?
Yes, that would be a typical reference point, yes.
Yes, so I guess when our own cups are empty on a personal level, then it's very hard to help others.
Yes.
But in Norway, we can't really argue that our cups are empty on the bigger scale. So I guess it's...
They are overflowing?
Probably, yeah. We have so many resources and we have so much space, not only inside but also physical space.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a choice, I guess.
Yeah, but let's like dive in deeper into this, because why do we sort of feel like there needs to be a top to our generosity towards people having a hard time? Like, I can only help you this far, and what I think is really interesting is like, so I guess we did some research prior to the show, because like currently in Europe there is this refugee camp in Moria, which is in Greece, where there was a fire. So things were already shit because people were just living in a sort of suspended reality, because being a refugee not going anywhere is sort of like just waiting. And then there is a fire, so obviously that's not optimal. And then European countries be like, okay, we need to help out.
Yeah.
We didn't help out prior to this, but now we need to help out because now the problem is so bad that we actually need to do something.
There's
and
so
then,
many variables in this.
Yes.
Like you
yeah, it's
have
complicated, right?
You have the news image, which is skewed to begin with, in the sense that you would highlight what is most
Scary?
yeah, or like sensationary.
Yes.
And
That's what
and then you
sells,
have the
right?
idea that like how many would you let in? It's like, would you, if you were in charge? It's like I love the question. I love you asking people, but I kind of met myself in the mirror there, like, I am in charge, we are in charge, and that's kind of the real the real talk around it is what are we actually doing with it. I saw the 50 thing, and I think my sister posted it, and then a part of me went, I'm not going to focus on the news because it's too much negativity, and another part of me was like, well, that's just too fucked up, what can I do? So it's an immediate like action orientation, which is beneficial because we're one big family, obviously. So what can we actually do? So then I asked if, not to play the hero here, but I asked if there was like a petition or something we can, and there is a big petition, is that what it's called?
Yes, people are signing, petitioning to sort of raise the number from 50 to 500. And is one petition?
That would be better, but I'm also thinking we are the richest country in the world, and if we really look at it, look at all the stuff you have in your basement, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need half of it.
Super awkward, because this basement is practically just like overflowing
and
of
it's
stuff.
just an example of how much we have that we don't need. Being so much in poor countries that I have
to say in my defense that I want more children, and the reason I have these boxes is because then I can put clothes on new children's. But then again, now I'm just trying to sort of I don't know, butter my own bread or sort of defend
your ego,
the fact that I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, and that's the I think is a real issue here. Like, we're actually doing nothing. Like, what are we actually doing? I think this conversation is doing something. We're sharing ideas can create and is being created. But I strongly feel like there's a big perspective shift in possible for Norwegian when it comes to Norwegians when it comes to immigration. Like, come on, open up. Even the borders are just a concept that we continue to hold up because that's how it's been. Do we actually need it? I think if we look inside and if we look at how human beings are being adaptable no matter what's happening and what's happened to us for thousands of years, then we will survive whatever challenges that will face us, and there's no real separation from any human beings. Like, we're all equal here. It's an even playing field.
We're in this boat together.
Yeah. So I'm with the black guy, you know, all of them, and let's not, you know, that's one way to help, and other ways are to, you know, aid and contribute through Lägger Utan Gränser and all that stuff.
I think it's much easier to do so, though, beginning from a place of kind of inspiration, because I see on Facebook and on the news it's so much negative energy, and trying to come from the negative energy of like, we're not doing enough, we need to do better, Norway sucks, the politicians suck, we are bad, you know, and it's that
just
makes
pushing
me,
everything into a huge pile of negative
we're
shit.
only taking 50 people, let's see how we can bring more of like an open positive energy instead of the negative.
That's a good perspective, right? Because you sort of fight negativity with just more negativity. It's like that is you know, what I like to call the blame game, which is a never-ending cycle, because where are you? You're gonna go back to Adam and Eve then, and sort of like, well, she asked me to eat the apple, and well, I didn't force it on you, but it was the snake. It was the damn snake.
She dressed improperly.
Oh my God! Don't eat that. Why did you wear the shirt then?
But there was something, Tess, you said in the beginning there, something like, you have to, so you're in an airplane
Yep.
Okay, so we are actually on a motherfucking big-ass airplane hurling to space.
Yes.
We are. It's a fact, actually. You can
It's
look it up.
It's a
on,
flat
disc.
disc,
It
actually.
might be a frisbee. I like that analogy. That looks cool. It's like thrown around the sun, which is also a frisbee. Now we're getting sidetracked here. I was going to the. So we're all in an airplane, or let's call it a spaceship. Spaceship sounds really cool. I would love to live in a spaceship. That's been a lifelong dream of mine, and Lord behold, now we're in a spaceship.
Yes.
That was easier than I thought, just by definition. Okay, so there's a crisis in the spaceship.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you do?
Yeah.
Well, first you tend to yourself, because if you don't tend to yourself, you will be unable to help others. So, what happens when there is a crisis in a spaceship where everyone secretly goes around hating themselves, being miserable, not doing what they came here to do, which actually was sort of like follow their true path, like, you know, going
Create from love.
create from
Yeah.
like the good stuff, right? But they got stuck in the whole, well, I have to have the job I hate to get to the vacation I love, and then retirement and all that.
And an angry Facebook post is the way to go.
I would argue.
It's only 50. I was like, sorry, I'm not going to share this post.
160.
But I had the exact same feeling, because there is obviously something very good with, like, 50 is not enough. But at the same time, it's very like, well, this is bullshit, everything.
Yeah, that's the challenge with society, man. Like, that happens a lot, what you're pointing at.
Yeah,
shit, with fighting with shit, and kind of like ending
an
up
actual
with a
shit
big...
storm, and
It's a shit storm.
But my shit is always better than your shit.
Yeah.
You know, because you're a racist or whatever.
Yeah. You have to take the higher.
I think
higher
there's a
ground
part
there.
of the solution lying in our capability to create. I've seen videos of in refugees where they create American Idol from in refugees with
Like more idle.
just like playing like we're doing right now. They're and making plants growing in like some like alltså väggplantor.
Wall plants.
Wall plants.
But that's the thing. And what I was like, what I'm aiming at here, and what I propose is, we as a nation cannot help other nations, anyone on this planet. If we have to start with ourselves, because if we're miserable as a people, and I'm sorry, guys, if you walk around looking in the mirror every morning saying, I hate you, you sorry sack of shit, then it's gonna be a bumpy ride. And you need to shift that fucking perspective. I'm sorry, do I swear a lot on this show? Is that offensive?
I like the
I don't
swearing.
care. I like it. I like it.
There's something like I didn't realize the ones like swearing is for special occasions, and maybe this is a special occasion.
Yeah.
But so we need to actually tidy up in our basement
What's a better thing someone could say to
before
themselves
we start
in the
tidying
mirror?
up in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes. So what's
Yeah.
a better thing that someone can say to themselves in the mirror then?
You have to take a look at yourself over there, right? And make a change.
All right.
You're starting with the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yes. It can also be a woman. I think it's gender neutral.
It's definitely gender.
Did you assume
But so
my gender?
how- I made a very assumption, and I put labels on you because you have a mustache, and I thought it would be
And a
fine.
penis.
Yeah,
Do you have a penis?
I do. Yeah.
That's cool.
Can I have more water, please?
You can have more water because you have a penis. But also, vaginas are also fine. So if you want water, you can have.
I'm fine with my coffee.
What if you have a vaginas?
Vaginas?
I think it's called a vagisus, but yes.
Shout out Jesus.
So the J-man over there. But so in closure, if you were in charge, how many refugees would you help?
I would just say to this is not going to be a short answer. I can feel it.
We have the time and an hour watch.
Okay, so basically I would just try and, like we talked about, start with myself. Like, what can I do to feel better in me? And then the answers will come, you know? That's what I would do. If I was in charge, I would just lead with a good example. And probably just open up the borders to all countries in the entire world anyways.
We don't have a student audience, but there are actually a point. I think that was a really good, that was lead by example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know economics and stuff that apparently is maybe important to know if you're bringing people into a concept of a country. So then the only thing I can do is just to try and be a good person.
Yes. And also, rest assured, there is no one keeping score on anything. And there is such a thing as the temporal aspects of this reality, whereas nothing of this is permanent. For instance, borders, for instance, properties, they were just borrowing it for a limited period of time. Obviously, you can say, I'm borrowing it, and then my kids are going to keep on borrowing it, and then you all of a sudden there's a nation, and you have like football teams and the flags and shit. And it's fun, but it's also some humanity in actually seeing the bigger picture, which is that we're all on this spaceship together. It's a pretty cool spaceship because it's round and it doesn't have a motor. It's just run with gravitational pull.
Power.
It's fucking cool. How about you? How many people?
Yeah, how many people?
Eye on the prize.
Well, I have my philosophy that might not be of popular opinion, but
I have to stop you there. You must never put negative spin on your supposition.
I have
just
a
like go
philosophy
for
that
it.
is
Just like,
very popular, or
no,
it's
just
completely
own your,
neutral.
like, just like say it and be proud of.
I don't believe in good or bad. So there's a neutrality that we're all sharing that I believe in. But I could have a cool plan, and a plan would be to dugnad, just literally apply, put out there. If I, put out there, the Prime Minister put out an application for everyone in Norway. Are there anyone willing to give up a land for 10,000 people? How many are they? For all of them. And then are there 1,000 other people who wants to help out to build huts with wood from finn.no, and then we'll go from there. We'll find food, we'll plant food, and then we speak with each other and share good ideas and stay connected and just focus on love and peace in that environment, and then slowly integrate language and stay in touch with nature.
Would we speak Esperanto? That's what I'm wondering, because I've heard that's sort of like the international language.
What?
Huh? No.
Esperanto, you don't know about this language?
I've heard about it, but
You thought it was just a myth?
I think we would speak Norwegian.
Let me guess. It's a language created to be universal.
Yes, it's the language for the planet. It sounds like Spanish.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it like almost just like Spanish?
Yes, but that's, like with New Norwegian, it sounds like the West Coast, but the guy who made it was like, no, I listen to everyone.
Yeah,
it's hard, it's hard trying to sort of find the middle ground. But I like what you're saying, and I think if your two sort of proposals combined, where you lead by example, if you had a prime minister who said, well, there's room for 10 people at my place, that would be pretty like, so you're part of this. You're not just looking at this from afar, saying like, well, I think you guys should do something. It's like, I'll help carry the load of sort of like this journey we're on. I don't know. It's interesting. I would also like to add on my own behalf that I am a big fan of rooting for people instead of petting people. I like sort of saying like, well, you can do this, like you can come on. And like you're saying, like there's if we're just feeling sorry for people in a poor situation, we're just going to fail to sorry. See that they are doing their quality of life has value. There is something to cherish even in a difficult situation. like the song, do they know it Christmas time at all? It's very crude to say that the whole of Africa has no value because they don't give each other stupid presents for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
They might still have a jolly good time. And they might also have an awful time, which we can do here in Norway as well, it seems. So it's not really like an...
I've always wondered about that phrase. Do they know it's Christmas time?
And it's so cheery, and it's like, no, we are better than you, kind of.
That happens a lot with music. It's like one vibe, and then the lyrics is like...
On a different frequency.
Like the one with, it's not good enough for me.
Oh, is it sad?
I don't know. It's not good enough for me.
I think this is a beautiful segue into what I like to call, because I don't have a studio band, I have myself, which is even better.
More than enough.
I have Corona gave me the gift of the time to learn myself to play the guitar, which is a work in progress. So
I assume you're gonna play the guitar now?
This assumption is right.
All right.
I'm gonna sing you a song, which I think is good for. It feels appropriate. It says in the schedule later, but I think it's now.
Yeah.
And
does it say later in the schedule?
No, it's just a bunch of gibberish. I have no idea. I mean, just Andy has like later. Okay. So bear with me.
Yeah.
Because it's a work in progress, like everything. I'm not gonna start up.
Just do it.
Fuck yeah, I like that.
Oh, I know this one.
Fuck!
You know it.
So, something, girl. Are you happy in this modern world? Or do you really know? Is there something else you're searching for? In all the good times I find myself alone. For a change, but in my bad times I fear myself.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to play the finger play while I sing, so, but I can't do it. But it's.
That's really
you know
good.
I love it. I'm not finished. I'm only halfway there. Shut up, man. It's just.
What are you talking?
It's my talk show. I can talk. It's a true story, actually. Tell me something more. Are you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for a change. But in the bad times I fear myself. I'm of the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground. Crash to the surface where they can hurt us, far from the shallows now. In the shallow, shallow, in the shallow.
nice.
It's a nice
Very
song,
good.
and you
It's
know it
very
sort of
nice.
speaks directly into this whole thing. It's like, you know, you're looking for more than this, but then you have to actually dare to go off at the deep end. You know, in the shallow waters you can't drown. That's safe. Over there in the deep end, that's uncharted territory. Things might go awfully wrong.
Yeah. I
But
think
we-
about
But
that a lot.
that's where you also learn how to swim.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
I think about that when I literally
Swim.
swim. I swim a lot these days in the water.
Is that your rap name, Sir Swim a Lot? That's
Could be.
that's off
Kjært
topic.
barn mange navn. Yeah.
Swim.
And it's like 16 degrees, not extremely cold,
Oh,
but it's
shit.
definitely like definitely.
Yeah, then you have to swim, right? Because if not, you're
Yes.
just gonna go into hypothermia.
And I aspire to keep swimming during the fall and winter. Yeah.
I would like you to invite me to one of these swim sessions because I love the ocean. Is it the ocean or is it the lake?
It's the ocean, and
Fucking
we're actually
ocean.
going swimming tomorrow with Julia and Caroline. So you're invited.
I must bring my daughter then because she has like the daycare is closed.
If you want, if
I'll
not,
talk to her and hear
anytime.
what she thinks about going for a swim in 16 degrees.
It's an open invitation.
Thank you. You know that I have a little something called the ULF experience.
Yes.
And you've seen episode. You're a patron by chunk.
I'm probably your number one Patreon.
Woo!
Hey.
And you're a couple, so you're
behind
sort of
every
counting
man
as.
there is a
Yeah.
I
You're
know
like
that.
singularity. Don't worry about it. But so you maybe seen episode 1 of the ULF experience.
I have. I massively enjoyed it.
It is quite enjoyable. That's my life, you know. I get to do that every damn day. I get to enjoy the ULF experience. But there is an episode 2 coming out shortly, and our editor has put together a clip to give you a little sense of a man and a horse.
Faith.
Yeah, and suffering. You know, that's where
Faith and
the whole thing sort of. And I'm so glad you could join me today. My pleasure. I am confronting fear because ever since I was a little boy, I've been afraid of horses. I had quite a scare in Denmark when I was a kid, and every Jedi's true purpose is to confront fear. So I talked to my friend Karianne. She's a horsewoman. I guess I'm now accepting the invitation to get to know this beautiful creature that's
Det er jo det vakreste som finnes på jord.
yeah, it's a beautiful animal.
Ja.
So this is the place.
This is the place.
This is the place where there are horses.
Mhm.
Wow. That's a
Der er
horse.
den! Hei!
It's out already.
Han er ute, ja. Hallois! ja.
Hei!
Ja, på nikk og greier, da, så det er jo...
To confront my fear, I am very grateful that you have facilitated the possibility for me to meet and ride, hopefully. I have never even sat on a horse.
Oh.
I gotta be honest and say that it's a big animal.
Det er jo det. It's big.
And this is Juilliard?
Yeah. Juliard.
Juli-
Juliard.
Not
Juliard.
like, okay, Juilliard.
Juliard.
Juilliard. Wow. Like, how do I...
Så hvis du vil bli kompis fra
How do I become friends?
Da får du kompis for livet, vet du.
Okay, so hello. I come with the carrots. Buying your love. Is it working? Like I was thinking you know, have you seen the movie Avatar?
Mm.
And you know, he's sort of like the whole like becoming one with the animal. And I think like, yeah, without the, let's say that we try it.
Ja, du kan bli ett med hesten med utstyret, men det liksom, men jeg skjønner
But I agree with your logic,
di.
like trying without first, and if that fails.
Ja. Mm. Og
Oh my god, that was beautiful.
Patreon.com/The WakeUp Show. If you want to know how it works out when I confront my fear of horses, yeah. And thank you to Karianne and I have forgotten the other wonderful woman's name who helped me in my venture, and Stian who was there holding the camera because Rabbe was busy doing other things. Now he started doing like odd jobs. Like we need to focus up. You know, if you want to follow your dream, you need to get.
Yes, Rabbe, are you listening?
I think
he's always listening.
He's always
you know?
listening.
So Patreon.com, be a patron, and to all my wonderful patrons, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you.
We're gonna, in a sexy way, go over to talking about relationships now, because, and I think maybe that was Rob who said, Morten and Tess are in an open relationship. He said, and I think he said it's like, I wonder what that's like. And I think we've never talked about that.
We haven't talked a lot about it to anyone, especially in this kind of forum. We talk about it easily, but it's not like we talk about it all the time with everyone.
No, yeah, but those who are curious, they ask.
Yeah,
we talk.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a curious human. I am curiosity itself, and obviously we want to know more. Also, just to do some research, I went out into the dream, talked to the fellow dreamers.
Nice.
For those of you who are sort of like have a good memory, you'll see it's the exact same people as I talked with the first time, because you just ask them the 2 questions. You don't have to ask different people. It's very great. And then in editing, they can do wondrous things. So let's hear what the people in the dream say about the open relationships. Have you ever been in an open relationship?
No.
Would you ever consider being?
No.
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 Have you ever been
In Ireland? No.
You haven't? In an open relationship?
Open relationship?
Yes, I think an open relationship is where you have like you are a couple, but you can also have like girlfriends or boyfriends or something.
No.
Would you ever consider being in an open relationship?
No.
I have not considered it so much.
Have you ever been in an open relationship?
It depends. I think I might be now.
Have you ever been in an open relationship?
No.
Would you ever consider being in an open relationship?
No.
No, I haven't. No.
Would you ever consider it?
Yeah, consider it if the circumstances were right. Sure.
Yeah. If the circumstances are right, I think that's a very open-minded approach to life.
Yeah.
What to say? I like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, I don't believe in that. Marriage is a holy institution ordained by the Most High. So it must be respected.
It's one partner is enough.
Yeah, enough.
That's probably.
But we are Muslims, so I can have 6.
You can have 6.
Yeah.
All right.
So. But it's more than enough.
One is enough.
My boyfriend and me, we don't live together. And it's been like this all for 16 years.
For 16 years?
Yes, and it's going to stay that way.
Okay. But you're okay with that?
Yes.
That works well for both of you?
We're a bit maybe selfish. We're very different, but at the same time we've got so much in common. So it's the best way.
You found balance.
To keep it, yes.
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 Yeah.
Wow.
So a round of applause for our wonderful dreamers out there. Actually, And as you could probably tell, there is a gap in knowledge with this fellow, because what is actually an open relationship?
So individual.
Right?
Yes.
So it would be individual, but what is your definition of an open relationship?
I think what people generally speaking think that it is, it's like, okay, so you are in a relationship, but you have other sexual or intimate relationships with others at all times. But for me, at least, it's like I know that I never have to stop myself, period, from being in the moment, if that's flirting or if that's sex or if that's hugging or kissing. Depends on the situation and the person, but I don't have to stop if there's a natural connection. I can go with it, and that's all it means to me.
Yeah.
And then when it shows up to be, then that's very different. And we have been in many different situations.
We actually have, yeah.
Yeah, where it's been flirting, or it's been sex, or it's been everything in between. Dancing, you know.
Dancing is pretty cool.
Dancing,
you know, me and Andy, we dance in a hip-hop group.
Yeah,
we
I
haven't
heard.
had sex yet, but we'll get to that, I guess. I don't know. That was a joke to sort of lighten the mood and everything. But I like what you're saying. And, you know, I as a serial monogamous guy, because I've been in relationships and they've been like longer relationships, right? And then you meet someone and there's something, and then I've become very afraid.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh shit, am I doing something wrong? Like, am I leading someone on? Like I remember once I was talking to someone and I joined myself, and then she gave me her phone number, and I was like, no, I'm not looking for you like that. Then I became very like anxious. But then I learned. Now I'm obviously just speaking on my own experience, that I can stay present in the moment, and I can feel the love and the energy that is in the room without being afraid of there being some sort of consequence to that end. Now, speaking for myself again, I never felt the urge for anything on the sexual side of things, but just that to sort of, for instance, saying to a person I don't know, I love you, and actually meaning it, I felt that to be very empowering, but that was many layers of fear, like, can I tell people that I care about them? And obviously that has led to some misunderstandings, like, but you said that you care about me, and I said, but there is a bigger picture, like, this is from a higher place than just looking at this, like, it's not mating season, I don't know, like, but you get what I'm saying. Yes. But I think it's very interesting, it's sort of like the moment you say, like, but I want to be present in the moment, but if I say I can only be present if with all of these different strings attached, then all of a sudden you're not present.
Yeah. And you're stopping yourself from just feeling whatever is natural for you to feel. It doesn't have to come out in words like, I think you are beautiful, I love you, but just being able to feel it without feeling guilt for feeling it.
Yes.
And being like, oh no, I feel something for this person, I think he's kind of interesting, I want to get to know him, but I shouldn't feel that because I'm in a relationship. Yes,
because there's a right and a wrong.
Right, so just blurring out the lines a little bit of right and wrong, like you were talking about earlier, just makes it harder to be wrong, I guess. So that was easy, you know?
Like in the movie, you were with us at the movie and saw obviously the beautiful advertisement for this show.
Of course.
But you also saw Tenet, where I love the scene where he says, "What does your heart tell you?" Which I think is a very, like, it's a bit on the nose, but at the same time it's very cool because for one thing he's interested in this girl, but he's an agent or whatever, so it's sort of like professional, but at the same time he's stepping way out of bounds and sort of like, there is something here. Can we please listen to that? And I think it's it makes things very difficult for us humans when we start to label everything as like, this is right, this is wrong, it has to be this way, even though it feels very strange or constricted.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, as someone in the dream mentioned, we have this covenant with God. We put something on stone plates.
Right.
I believe it was Moses had to do it twice because people were like doing the golden calf thing. It got messy. He became angry.
To me, it's just all concepts are concepts.
Yes.
And I feel like I've been through many concepts, and they sometimes work and they sometimes don't. It's like there's no real correlation between, let's say, having sex with one person and that being right or happiness, or having sex with many people and that being right or happiness, or and not having sex with anyone, or saying I love you or not saying I love you, or you know, you can infinitely create or come up with examples of different concepts, and I obviously use concepts as everyone else, and that's kind of how we relate in this world. But when it comes to this personal thing, that it's a relationship, and which is personal and very universal, I feel like I'm limiting myself if I have to follow rules in something that there is no.
Because love can never be wrong, and I think one of those concepts is that we have a limited amount of love to give, and I only have enough for one person. So if I give it to someone else, it means I cannot give it to you anymore, which means I'm hurting you and I can't be together with you, so we have to break up because I cheated.
You have 10 apples, and then you can give 5 of those apples to Morten. You should keep 5 for yourself, just for a little self-love. But then if someone else comes along,
I need to steal the apples from Morten.
Apples back, and then sort of like
and
divide them up.
And you, as the host of the Infinite podcast, you know that
But you know, that's the fun thing with love. It's there is an unlimited capacity of this.
Exactly, and we've actually had the opposite experience of being with other people, coming back with just more passion and more like the flirty vibe that you had in the beginning of a relationship, and bringing like new experiments or in bed or just in our day-to-day life, and it's amazing. That's, I mean,
and just working on jealousy and going through jealousy without making it into this big make it or break it point to our relationship. It's like we don't feel like, okay, we're feeling jealous right now, let's break up. It's just like we feel jealous right now, let's talk about it, let's feel it, let's play with it.
Unpack this. What is this? What's underneath this jealousy? That's very interesting.
Stay conscious about it and be there and let it go through. And maybe express, maybe not express, maybe just be in it, but definitely becoming more resilient in terms of get stronger. You get to experience more of the color palette of life and emotions when you're able or willing to open up for example, jealousy and or the humbleness and sårbarhet, vulnerability of you know, all these different gray zones in the not mainstream type the herd way of living life. It's amazing. Yeah.
Dare I say, you are explorers of love, and you know. Here's the thing, you know, so there's like, okay, so there's a definition of what love is, right? And then you get told this is what love is. But then you're sort of out there in the real world. It's like, but what's all this, like, what's all this outside of what you talk about? What's all of this? I want to know what this is. So you're exploring the unknown and actually gaining experience and learning about yourself, about the world. And I think that's, you know, like the song, you're not in the
shallow.
You're in the deeper waters now, and that's where growth happens. But obviously, you know, from the perspective of like, well, a relationship must only be two people. Because if not, it will be destroyed. As long as you sort of cling to that idea, obviously that would destroy the relationship, because then you're breaking the whole thing. And obviously, since we talked about, since I suggested we talk about this on the show, I was reflecting on this myself, and also was like, well, so I've been married to my wonderful wife for many years, actually 9 years.
Wow!
And we've been together since the beginning of time, but as these incarnations, we've been together since 2006. And I don't care about having sex with anyone else but her, because I just don't care anymore. But I love people. I want to be with people, and I want to be present with people. And I think be honest, honesty, just the whole thing about just obviously. Then you get to feel some of these things. And then also the thing with my experience doesn't have to be your experience. We can have separate experiences, and I don't have to judge you, and you don't have to. Nobody needs to judge anyone, because 2020. We stopped the blame game. Boop boop. Now you can do that sound.
Oh, hold on.
I just want to.
No,
sorry, that was very awesome.
But it's so true though. When I hear the word open relationship, I think of friendships. I think of family relationships. I don't see it as a couple having sex with a lot of other people, like I think many people might see it as. I just see it as all of our relationships should be open. Because we should be able to be ourselves 100% and follow our hearts, and no matter what relations we have in our life.
Exactly. Love is infinitely abundant. It's ubetinget, unconditional love, which we're pointing to, and that's what it's all about.
It's not limited to anything, actually.
Adding to that, being in an open relationship is just as much of a concept as being in a closed or normal monogamous relationship. It's not that there's anything better or worse here. It's just we're buying into our story as much as anyone is buying into their story. So whatever floats your boat, I mean, but I definitely do feel it's important to point towards unconditional love, because that's, I feel, where it's at.
I want to say something which I think, and I know I've made this misconception many times, especially when I was younger, is that sex and love is the same thing. And
I do that.
And obviously, passionate sex is very much a love thing, because you're giving yourself away to someone else physically and also mentally, and you're becoming one, and it's beautiful. But also, sex can also be a very mechanical thing, and typically, back in the days when there was such a thing as homosexuality being very bad, I remember that it was also the consensus was well, they just want to have sex. They just want to have sex all the time, and it's reducing everything down to the mechanics of the whole thing. It's people want to experience love. They want to experience being loved, which is typically what we really want. But the exercise is actually to understand that you have to just sort of give, because if everyone is just giving their love away, if you're sharing this abundant love you have inside, there will be enough for everyone. But if everyone's walking around can I have some love from you because I don't have enough, then there's going to be lack. So it's love is there is abundance, but it requires us to actually tear down those borders.
And I think we go in and out.
Just explore the borders. That's my tip. Just a little bit of kind of have the courage to look in a new direction and see that there are concepts.
Yes.
Just see that there are concepts. Let's start there, and then we can start it's not a step-by-step procedure here, but I just feel for me, it was very important to first of all just realize that it is a concept. The relationships I've had previously but also our relationship and everything. Because it wasn't like, oh, I need to have an open relationship in my next relationship, and then you were there, and I was like, I need to have an open relationship to be able to be with you. It was like, it was just our natural kind of flow. I don't think we would sit here if we wouldn't have been open from the beginning.
Right, and it was also like our relationship happened very individually together or something. Like I did my whole conference about relationships and sexuality, and Tess were there, and you did a conference for women and all about personal growth and stuff. And then I don't know, that also was related, I feel, to the whole I guess self-exploration and individuality maybe, and just sexual exploration for my sake, and just being true to that, and kind of for me it was like just walking my path, and while walking my path, all of a sudden there's this beautiful lady beside of me sometimes. Like, it started rarely and in different countries, and we met in the US, and then we
but your journeys
Turkey,
intertwine, and then they sort of have their...
And then kind of more and more together, but not like we're like meeting at a first date, and then we're like talking about what our boundaries and compromises are, and then like from here we're gonna like set this path and go in this direction. It was more of a lining of stars, I guess.
Lining of stars.
But I think what you talked about with the love and sex, I think is very interesting, because to me love is what is. That's truth, that's beauty, that's where creativity comes from, that's where that's who we are, and that's as real as it gets for me, and I think that's what we all seek, as well as being the character in this dream. I think the character seeks the cause of the character. So the character being an activity of love, and love being the isness, the who we are, the who we actually are. And then the character goes through all of these concepts and rules and right and wrong and duality and beliefs, you know, all these beliefs we have. And what happens once in a while is like the water comes and brushes it all. I like to say water, but water is also for me love, beauty, truth. Same different form, and brush it all away sometimes, and that's what we call an awakening or a paradigm shift, or I finally got the inspiration to do the thing, and then we start doing the thing. Or it might be, our relationship is so good right now, and it's like, that's what the falling away from the character is. That's what the falling away from concept is. It's just falling back into oblivion. Love.
But then you have to trust that the thing that is lurking behind you is actually catching you when you fall. Which I find, because I personally was scared shitless of what's this nothingness behind my existence. And if I fall out of my body, I would then, to the metaphor of dying, right? So when I die, this body will be totally useless except for maggots and the whole ecosystem, which will be celebrating. What happens to me? And I was like, but there's nothing back here. It seems like I might hurt myself, or it might, and then I dared to let go Now, that my personal experience was through to the work of plant medicine, where I experienced letting go and realizing that there is just a bunch of lovely cushions. It's fine as wine, and obviously you cannot fuck this up. This is unfuckable, and all of that, which then sort of led me on my quest to world mass awakening from San Francisco via the dream. But it's a if this was a film, it'd be like a rump of a road trip, you know, like. Oh, it's over there now. That's fun. That's interesting. Oh, I didn't see that coming. There's twists and turns, and I love that shit. It's like, I live for that shit. But it's just, you know, when I saw science fiction movies in space when I was a kid, I felt like space was horrible because it's nothing there. You know, it suffocates you.
Well,
it's just like horrible. But then I realized, you know, all the dark matter, that's love. You know, we're this spaceship we're in.
Yes,
it's just like just floating in love, in an ocean of love, which we cannot see because you cannot see and observe and touch love. You can just experience it. And we experience it best together as one. But it's obviously starts with you and ends with you. But we're in this boat together. Spaceship. We're on a fucking spaceship. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And I think it's both brave because, you know, it's all this, you know, especially with sexuality and all that, there's these layers of shame sprinkled on top of shame, on top of guilt, on top of like this cake that's
amazing. How I buy into that as well. Like I have to go through layers, and
even when people ask, I'm like, I'm not gonna say that I like to have sex, obviously. I don't say that as a young woman, you know.
What would people say? What would people think? Yes. What would the church people be like? Did you hear Tess? She likes sex. That's good.
Yeah, what would my mama say?
Well, that's what happens when we buy too much into, when we take things personally in the right sense of the word. Like when we think we're the body, when we think we're the character, when we take things personally, we take the concepts personally. We believe that we as a character have to do stuff in a book in order to get somewhere that is the smooth place.
Just a smooth place.
And you kind of, it's like mirrors in an elevator. If there's mirrors on both sides, it's gonna be like one concept leads to another, boom, 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 and all of a sudden you have a gazillion like rundgang in audio, like.
You have the feedback loop.
Yeah, the feedback loop of concepts, and all of a sudden you're lost in this running around trying to be good enough or perfect or fit in or trying to figure out what's the right things to do because you believe that you're this thing that is controlled by this idea of other, you know what I mean? Like there's this idea of others having the right answers. Yes. Who are these others that's always doing the, you know what I mean? Like
I know exactly what you mean. I have a life hack tip because I from time to time find myself in the hallway of mirrors, and I like to think of it as. Now that I contemplate it, it's four mirrors, you know, always. So it's your future and your past, which are like, what did I do in the past and what shall I do in the future? And then there's the people around you, which is sort of, what do they want me to do? But then I breathe. I focus, and I find myself in this wonderful body that I bought at the shop of bodies. Body shop? No, this was not going to turn into nonsense. Point being, like, you need to center yourself, you need to focus yourself, you need to get to the here and now, and you need to be fully present. Because then all of the bullshit, which are these mirrors around you, will fade away, and you will know exactly what you're here to do. And all these like doubts of well, this is right, this is wrong. And you see what you're grounded in is love. And love is, and always will be, the thing that makes the thing do the friggin' thing around the other thing. And here we are. But it's also a very positive force. It enjoys playing with this negative force. But it's play. Seems very serious at times. But it's play.
Can I segue that?
Yes.
So we had an interesting day today.
Yes, you told me, and then you said, "Oh, we're going to talk about the interesting day." God damn it!
I don't know how detailed they want to go, but we were frustrated and not seeing each other.
Your fault.
And it was my fault.
It's typically someone's fault, yes.
And hers in the mirror elevator. And all of a sudden, vroom, you know, there's one detail becomes a big problem. And I'm proud of that we kind of stood in it instead of avoiding it. And then at some point, you know, this too shall pass. It passes. It dissolved into nothingness, and we woke up again, or we fell back again into the soft cushion of okayness, and then.
Well, since it's the Wake Up Show, I would prefer it if you say you woke up into.
I woke up, and then energy back, and it just came to me that a quote, I don't remember who says it, but it's someone else. Angels can fly because they take themselves lightly.
Fuck yeah, that's good.
It is.
That's solid.
Because you said love kind of likes to play with the negative, and that's kind of how life works. You know, it's formlessness turning into form, and then formlessness again, and then form again, and it's kind of sometimes the form looks like this, other times it's like this, and other times it's, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It is what it is,
Yes.
and then but we can take ourselves lightly. We don't have to take ourselves so darn seriously and personal and take everything on and be like, figure this out, and it's like
and
a
we made
contracting.
it into like a super dramatic thing. It's like, oh, we're frustrated, and it's like, yeah, we are
There's
frustrated.
a problem with
there's
being
there's
frustrated.
definitely a problem that we need to solve.
And then there's a
but we
problem,
also know that there's nothing we can do to solve it.
And
so
then
we're
you
just
run
being
around
frustrated,
looking
and then
for-
we know this. Why are we then frustrated? Blah 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 blah. And then it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Here's something. Let's try and look at this for a little bit without drama. And we just like, oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
So you
We
stepped
can
out
look
of
at
the
things.
mirror elevator.
Yeah, kind
you
of.
could,
When you-
active, not active. I'm not sure, but it
Yeah,
happened.
no, but
it
I've
happened.
had the exact same experience. There is this stickiness to the situation, right? It's like, what's going on here? And then you be like, yeah, I have to fix this. I have to fix this. This is horrible. And then it's like, let's just pause.
Yeah.
Let's just stop for a second. And then sometimes I will start laughing because it's like, oh shit, it became really serious there for a while. And it's like, what was so serious? And you're like, oh, it was laundry. Or it was so arbitrary that you can't even,
It was laundry.
Kind of was,
you
yeah.
can't even like.
Not really, but
That's,
kinda,
and I'll catch myself and it's like, oh, you're taking this seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, holy mackerel. And there you have, then you're sort of looking the cosmic joke square in the eye, and he's just winking back at you, and you know, like, oh, that's right, we're here to actually explore this and to enjoy this, but then we have to actually sort of allow.
Well, since this is the Wake Up Show, that's what's happening. You kind of observe who's the thinker. Who's the thinker? And then, okay, are you in a sticky situation? Well, who's stuck? Well, you. Okay, then who is you?
Yeah, and
who's the
who's the guy
having
who's
the
not
thought
stuck in the
that
back
you
there?
is-
It's sort of like
is you.
just, yes.
And then you can just go from there infinitely until you kind of go into the realization that, the beautiful realization that we don't know. there's outside of our intellect. It's outside of our understanding as a human being. It's outside of our brain. So then we go to the knower. Who is the one who knows that we have a brain? It's awareness itself. It's God. It's love. It's isness. It's who-ness.
Yeah, and it's just happening. It's not like when you were frustrated that you were like, wait a minute, I need to think all of these things to get to that place. It's just like that's the explanation in words of what is just
or mind pointing words to it, but
happening, and we
I think that's
didn't
a great
realize
point.
it before it happened, but then it happened.
I think that's a great point, that we can have a tendency to believe that everything needs to be an application that the brain needs to figure out.
Yes.
And then we're stuck in trying to figure an application to get to the smooth place again. But describing what's happening is interesting, because when we start understanding and seeing that happening sometimes, like waves in the ocean, then apparently it seems like the character will be more resilient and more aware, or more peaceful and forgiving to what's happening until it wakes up again, or until it comes back again.
That was lovely. If we're more present now, I'm gonna have to sort of like, I don't know, throw some shit around or something, because this is very joyful. Wow.
Yeah.
Need to just savor this moment, because we're in it, and now we're totally submerged in it. I believe this is what Abraham Hicks calls, you're in the vortex.
Vortex.
God, that fucking vortex.
Yeah. Shout out Jeannie.
Jeannie?
Jeannie loves Abraham Hicks, and
everyone should love him. Yeah, I'm getting really tired.
All right.
Yes. Well, yes.
Wake up!
This is the wake-up show when people are falling asleep. That's horrible.
It's just a natural cycle.
Because I have a fun clip. Because I thought we saw the horse thing, and I was like, but maybe we should sort of like give a little. Maybe I should sort of offer, like, give more of my, like, give more. And also make people more intrigued about the whole Patreon thing. Like, you want to get on Patreon. Get on patreon.com/the WakeUp Show, because you want to see sort of like how on earth does Ulf end up like this in the end.
I do believe I have found my roots. I am a horseman, a rider of horses. I think my Indian ancestors would be really proud of me. Just to browse in nature. We got this.
Because it turns out you can actually be one with Mother Nature just by daring to explore.
Jump into the deep water.
No, there was something. Could you give me a picture? Could you give me a picture of me on the horse again? I don't know. It was.
If this, man.
Could you give me close up of the ass? Not the horse's ass, man. Come on, my ass. What the I have a dimple on my ass? You know, you have to sort of ride a horse to realize that your ass has dimple. Do you know how much my ass is enjoying that? It's so much that its dimples are showing. That's a sign of joy. Wow. So, you want to watch the rest of the episode, I think, of the ULF experience, where we have a trip to the cinema. We go pitch this show to not a network, but a production company. I like, how could you not want to enjoy the ULF experience? I would be a patron, but I am the ULF experience. I am experiencing the experience.
Here's a marketing tip for you. Let the customers promote your product.
Oh, cut to my customer.
So as a Patreon, I would
Speak to the camera.
highly recommend you. I know you're watching right now, so this applies to you. Please do yourself a favor and become a Patreon. It's actually a good idea, because then you will get more of this content. You will have a good feeling about giving, and giving, the secret of living is giving. So that's a win right there. You have a win right here, as you're actually contributing to this making of this happen. And then Ulf will become very happy, and you'll get the episodes every third week.
Yeah, we'll see how.
Third week.
That actually depends totally on how many patrons we get, because the more patrons, the more I can pay the editor to edit the show, and it's all interconnected.
And a bonus, you can choose however much you want to contribute with.
Yeah, you can contribute a little, a lot. It's a free world after all. Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously we would try to wrap this out now before people awake totally, because when you're in dream state, it's also an awake state. The insights in dreams are pretty awesome stuff. That's for another episode. But I always searched the internet far and wide to find a quote that sort of seems to wrap this episode up in a beautiful way. Before I used a piece of paper, but then someone told me the rainforest is dying, and I was like, I have to do something. And then the iPad can actually show pictures. I'm not actually. I like paper, but also I've used my daughter's iPad. It looks like a tie. It's pretty funny. It's because it can stand. No, I'm sorry. I found a quote that I think is perfect for this episode. I'll show it to you, and you will read it as one, as the yin and yang twins. Okay?
Yeah.
So, are you ready?
If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change.
I think you used the same quote in the first Infinite podcast.
I am pretty sure that I find new quotes every time. Because one thing, this fits perfectly with tonight's episode.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Totally.
And that's no coincidence. And obviously, its change starts with you. But once you've transitioned, like a butterfly, when it's a caterpillar, can't do shit, it's just eating and like messing about. And then it goes into this metamorphosis, becoming something completely new. Yeah. It's awakened into a butterfly. And when it's a butterfly, it can fly around and annoy people or
inspire people.
Inspire people because they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. And like, it starts with you, and the moment you've reached your full potential as a butterfly, you can actually go around inspiring and lifting people up by creating a talk show that ends up in San Francisco. Hey. Bada bing, bada bang. That wasn't so hard. Tess and Morten, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for letting us be on the show.
When will you invite me to your show?
Do we have a show?
Now.
What's our show?
I have a show.
You have a show?
You have a show.
Yeah.
That's your show.
Yeah, but you can join.
Let him have a show. It's like this.
Yeah,
join
anytime.
us. Yeah.
Anytime.
What's the name of your show? Plug your show. Like, if you know.
Hakesläpp. We don't have a set time for it, but we're definitely putting a lot of effort in it, time, energy, and money, and
they care about their result.
Yes. So if you watch the Hakesläpp, you will get more of these interesting, deep, and lättbeint conversations. Yeah,
light conversations, I believe is the term.
Musicians, artists, and people who do something.
Mushroom experts.
Mushroom
Yeah,
experts.
that was your last episode. I saw that last night. It was very nice.
It was very nice.
Cool. And
it was educational. You were like really.
Yes.
And
learning.
the next, we're actually having a psychedelic mushroom expert coming as well.
Oh.
So for those of you who are interested in that, and I just really wanna.
Looking forward to that. But thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, Andy. I love you, man, for being here and making this like just a smooth ride into the World Wide Web of things. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for being here with us. And I love you guys. Keep on rocking. And I'm going to end this with a song because that's only fair. Because you're my hostages, I can do whatever I like, I guess. And you're like, I'm falling asleep. And I'm like, I'm going to do a song. Okay, I'm putting a guitar up like this. I have like a smooth setup, you can see. I haven't learned nor the lyrics or the chords, so will just bear with me. But know that it comes from a place of love. And you know my heart is bottomless, so it's infinite and unconditional and just joy. As it should be on a Thursday in the dream. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. And the world will live as one. There's more, but I think we'll end it there because I think we get the point. Be a dreamer. Be a believer. Should run the outro clip. We're good, we're fine as wine.